This year's national award is given to Newtown South 2, Phase 2 in Pennsylvania. The project began June 10, 2011 and ended on May 5, 2012. Reclamation construction combined cost was $680,756. Reclamation was achieved in partnership between OSM, Pennsylvania Bureau of Abandoned Mine Reclamation, Department of Environmental Protection, Pennsylvania Game Commission, and Indian Head Coal Company. Newtown South 2, Phase 2 is located in the southern anthracite coal field, 40 miles northeast of Harrisburg in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. The site had been underground mined for over 80 years. Several surface and a few underground mines are active today in the watershed. However, most were abandoned in the 60s. The watershed was covered by steep-sided mine pits, steep banks of barren spoil and culm, and fine coal waste in silt basins. Mine openings and subsidence allowed for surface water drainage. Further downstream, the contaminated water discharged from abandoned mine drainage sources. This has drastically hurt the fish population in the northern 12-mile portion of the Swatara Creek, making it a candidate for reclamation. The area did have a lot of visitors, evidenced by spent shotgun shells, footprints, and tire tracks. Bottles, cans, and paper wrappings were littered throughout the top and bottom of the pit, and trash had been dumped throughout the site. It was estimated that 5,000 hunters visited annually. The project regraded 50 acres of abandoned mine lands and reclaimed 3 vertical openings and 4 hazardous water bodies. 2 water seeps and 1 discharge were treated using the limestone beds and wetlands that were created. 3 water-filled pits' high walls reached 20 feet above the water's surface. These and 4 strip pits had a combined total of 1,200 foot of high wall. Special treatment systems were used on 3 mine discharges called automatic flushing upflow limestone bed treatment systems with polishing aerobic wetlands. These systems had not been used by the Bureau previously. To prevent debris from entering the system, the mine discharges are directed to rock-filtered intake chambers conveyed by plastic piping to PVC-lined limestone beds with perforated plastic outflow pipes. The water flows through the limestone bed, through the wetlands, and discharges into the creek. This treatment system needs to be backflushed twice a week into settling ponds. Pennsylvania Bureau of Abandoned Reclamation met with Game Commission officials for design planning. They suggested tree and grass seed mixtures to benefit local wildlife. 12 bluebird boxes, 4 wood duck boxes, a back gate, and mallard rings were incorporated into the project. The Game Commission also suggested timbering the property prior to the start of construction. To prevent compaction of the area, soil nutrients and tree seed were hydro-seeded and then mulched from outside the 50-foot perimeter. All natural growth, down timber, logs, trees, poles, roots, stumps, and brush cleared and grubbed from the grading areas were placed in brush piles to act as erosion and sedimentation controls and wildlife habitat, or for the brush barrier core units above the tree planting areas. The landscape of the completed project resembles approximate original contour. A game cover seed mixture was used on a bulk of the grading areas. Stones and stumps were strategically placed in the constructed wetlands to provide wildlife habitat. Wet ground conditions created on-site difficulties. A diversion and care of water item was added into the contract to address this. The contractor was able to use a variety of resources to deal with water infiltration and flow issues. Additional diversion ditches and sumps for pumping water were needed. The contractor resolved instability of the sidewalls of the treatment cells and inlet ponds with timber mats to support and distribute the equipment load. Railroad property proximity also proved a challenge, having to build treatment sites in muddier areas. Since the project's completion, black bear, white-tailed deer, turkey, pheasant, grouse, black snakes, ducks, geese, and snapping turtles have all been seen, great for a state with 25% of its adults calling themselves hunters. Newtown South 2, Phase 2 has preserved, maintained, and enhanced wildlife habitat areas and has been restoring water quality and the fishery for increased recreational opportunities. Closeness to the state capital has made tours easy for state legislators, government officials, and environmental groups, therefore increasing public awareness as well.